Good morning. 9 o'clock straight up. Check audio here. Good morning. There's that one. And here comes audio this here. One. Got that one. Both muted now. February 6, 2023 on a Monday morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And it's a moan day when people are moaning that they have to go back to work. Today's title, Windows Daily 151. Don't have a lot to cover today. We'll be interacting with chat. I'm going to go to channel comments and see what we've got there to respond to. Turn on that picture-in-picture and come back over here to channel comments is over here. Oh, and there is a redirect set up for Ken Stout. Let's see, right now we got 10 viewers, 5 likes. Thank you so much. In channel comments, starting at the oldest one, Steve Dodd says you will need to get a bigger APC battery backup since Big Beast has 1300 watt power supply, and another one for Baby Beast, which has 500 watt power supply. Well, after much deliberation between the various Dougs around here, at the moment we're not going to do that, because when the power goes out, it's not that big a deal. The biggest nuisance when the power goes out here is that Big Beast takes a long time to start up after a crash, after a non-commanded shutdown. It takes 2 or 3 minutes. The price tag for those power supplies, a few $100s and above, it's just not worth protecting against that. With Windows, ever since Windows 10 at least, I have never experienced a consequence of power outage, meaning the computer won't start up again. So I'm going to go without it. Pop back over chat, make sure everything's going all right. No warnings there. A bunch of hellos there. Jesse, are you going to play Fortnite tomorrow? Yes, we will play at our regular time tomorrow. Black Serendipity says good morning, along with several others. Selden Ball letting us know he's got 34 degrees Fahrenheit and overcast. So coming back to more comments. Oh, let's see. I need to go grab a share and oh, why doesn't that have, no, that's not going to give me a timestamp for it yet, is it? All right, so I will respond to Steve Dodd, give him a thumbs up and a heart, reply to him. I replied at the beginning of that video. And click reply. Then the next comment, Pineapple Road. Let's expand that and maybe even zoom in a bit. Doing a wipe and reload. This was in response to the Windows Home to Windows Pro upgrade difficulty. Doing a wipe and reload would likely automatically revert the computer back to home version. I agree with that because there's a digital license recorded at Microsoft for that computer, and if you just do a Windows 10 or 11 install, it will recognize that. Now that computer had a digital license, we know, for Windows 10 Home, but he did tell us in comments that he upgraded to Windows 11 Home. And I think he said without any difficulty. So there's a digital license for that. He could install either version and would automatically install the home version. Well, let's see. Since the computer would likely have an embedded product key, it doesn't seem to me that it's actually embedding the product key anymore, but rather a digital license based upon the identification of the motherboard and the CPU combined together. I gotta say that strikes me different than an embedded product key, which the installer will detect and automatically select the Home Edition, as all Windows 11 installers contain both the Home and Pro editions. Yes, that's been the case all along, is that an installer has both of those, and it just depends upon either your product key that you're typing in or the digital license that's already recorded on Microsoft servers. I do have a laptop I do have one laptop which I don't have an image backup of, for the simple reason that there isn't any image backup software that works on it. What? Really? Well, you could do one of those hardware clones in a toaster that just does it's operating system independent, but it does a forensic clone, meaning it's going to include cloning the empty space. In fact, I won't even be able to do a manual wipe and reload on it if anything goes majorly wrong with it, as Microsoft does not provide ISO files for the architecture it uses. Well, this strikes my curiosity. What in the world architecture does he have on a laptop that Microsoft doesn't have an ISO file for it? And the most I can come up with is either it's built out of Legos, because Microsoft might not have an ISO for that, or maybe it's Windows 10 on a MacBook Pro. Is that a different architecture? I don't know what architecture you can't have an ISO for Windows. Now maybe someone in chat is going to clarify that or tell me about it, because it's probably just something I'm not aware of. And it might be more common knowledge than, of course, what I have, because I'm not common knowledge, I'm Doug knowledge. Camille Kozira. Oh, let's see, I gotta tell Pineapple Road that I replied near the beginning of, and then paste this link. And there's that one. Yeah, got both of those. So that's Pineapple Road. Then Camille Kozira. This was from the video Windows Viewers 11 Home to Pro Upgrade Difficulty, so the same one. Thank you for sharing such an informative video. I had an issue once upgrading to Pro, but a restart fixed the upgrade arrow. So upgrading apparently from Home to Pro, and all Camille had to do was to restart. I know this is not related to the video, but what brand of headphones are you wearing? Okay, I've asked that. I've had that. I haven't asked the question. I've had that question a few times. And I'll go back and see if I can do a quicker job of bringing that up on screen and giving Camille actually a link for it. So it was, and I know that I had trouble finding it previously too. Oh yeah, that's a good way. Just look at the name on it. Shocks. That should get me right to it. There it is. And then click on that. And then I'll click up here in the URL so that I can give that link. Thumbs up and heart. Reply. Here is a link to the headset. And that's this. I replied near the beginning of this video. And then I can do Windows key V so for my clipboard history to pick that out. And then I could go highlight all of this so that next time I could just paste it. There we go. And then click reply. I think I've got just a couple more quick ones and then I'll go into chat. This was from Windows Think Tank. That was on last Saturday. Oh, this was Tom says, Doug, tell Doug it was a nice stream today. I just included that because I enjoyed the comment. Live free Windows report support session fixing a viewer's printing problem. So this was from Sunday, the pop-up session on Sunday at 22:38. Pineapple Road says, I think I know what happened there. Let's expand this. Ugh, that's more than I wanted to do. With Paint, you can only see what's on the canvas, and the canvas is not automatically enlarged or shrunk. If you resize an image by dragging the corner of the selection box, you do have to be careful with this, as anything outside the canvas will be automatically deleted from the image as soon as it is no longer selected. When nothing is selected, dragging the resize tabs will change the size of the canvas. Now I'm going to go click on this time increment right here. It's going to take us right to that spot in the video. And then I want to actually back up a little bit and show what happened here, because I'm still not quite answered as to what happened here. So here's when I first pasted it. As soon as I pasted this image, we've got the selection handles automatically on that image. Now when I drag that handle, I was expecting it to expand the image, and it did, but it cut part of it off. I want to point out down here at the bottom, it says 462 by 643. So that's going to mean that it's 462 pixels high, 643 pixels wide. Now I'll press the space bar to go forward a little bit, and you'll see me drag this selection handle to make it larger. Does it get larger? Yes, it gets larger, but we see the whole vertical part of it, but we don't see the whole horizontal part of it. Now I'm not quite sure I understand the commenter's description, but when I looked at this closer, I see here's that 462 high by 643 wide, but over here it's showing 628 tall by 481 pixels wide. What it seems to me is that my expansion here went beyond the available width of the palette or the width of the paper. I didn't understand at the time, and I just went on and used a different technique to deal with it. I don't care a whole lot about figuring out how paint works because it's so rare that I need it or use it. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Now, if I come out of here and go back to the comment and read it again, let's see, I guess, where am I going to get out of here? Make it not full. Pause that again. Come back to the comment. I think I know what happened there. With paint, you can only see what's on the canvas, and the canvas is not automatically enlarged. Okay, so when I enlarged it, let's get back to where it is. It's not there. That's today's video. Oh, yeah. When I enlarged it, it got taller and it got wider, except that I can't see this part of the image, right? Canvas is not automatically enlarged or shrunk. So I was enlarging the picture to fill the available canvas, but I went beyond the available canvas. If you resize an image by dragging the corner of the selection box, you do have to be careful with this, as anything outside the canvas will be automatically deleted from the image or not visible from the image as soon as it is no longer selected. When nothing is selected, dragging the resize tabs will change the size of the canvas. Okay, I think I'm understanding that now. Let's see, was it back here? Yeah, so if I didn't have that object selected, so I just click out here in the blank area, then I could make the canvas larger. All right, I think I'm understanding that. Pineapple Road, thank you, and I will say thanks. I replied here. And then bring up, oh, you know what? I said that was, I did the copy and paste, right? So Control V. Now that just got the link. I replied near the beginning of this video. Oh, there it is. Oh, it's all there. It's all there. Thanks, I replied near the beginning of this video. There we go. Let's see how that works. And then do a thumbs up and a heart. So we're done there. And let's go look at chat. Scrolling up to the top, and Catherine Anna Hauserman says hello. William Dawson. Alan Barsness. I'm kind of picking these out at random that I haven't already said hello to. Robert, or Jeff Ryman says that Robert was first, but I don't see Robert here. So that's another one of these situations where the first chat message is no longer visible. There it is. Robert began by saying morning, afternoon, a couple hours before start time. Then let's scroll down to where people are responding to what we've been talking about. 79 degrees. Catherine asking everybody to like the video. Laughing star. Chit chat between peoples probably means Windows RT. Rest in peace. RT. I vaguely recognize that, but I never was involved enough with Windows RT to know what that is off the top of my head. Windows RT, Windows 8, oh, that architecture for ARM. All right, that's the architecture that you can't get an ISO for, perhaps. Dennis, architecture refers to 32 or 64-bit operating systems. Well, you can still get 32-bit for Windows 10 and I think Windows 11 too. So that's not his problem. I think architecture might refer to more than just the difference of the what bit size? What do you call that? I'm not sure. Sorry, I was helping a client with counting file issues from Greg. Josh says hello. Lego's laptop. Yeah, that's the I want to see that and see somebody install Windows on it. Well, they're going to put those Legos Windows on it, right? I guess I can look over here. How about if I make this bigger? Yeah, I can look over here. This way I'm looking at the camera. Facing the camera. Lego laptops are the easiest to tear down. Hellos between people. It might be an ARM CPU. Just put a link into the description and tell people to check the description. Instead of doing what? Yeah, I'm not sure what you're trying to correct me to there. If you're saying that as an alternative to putting the response in their comments, it goes to them by email if they have that feature turned on when I reply to their comment. Put a link into the description. Tell people to check the description. Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going there with that. Maybe an embedded operating system, one of them Windows S, but he's called it a laptop. An embedded operating system implies a IoT device, Internet of Things, rather than a laptop, but he called it a laptop. Good morning to Chris. Photoshop has an option to preserve cropped pixels. Okay, so if you, yeah, that was the other piece of that. He said if you enlarge it and part of it's no longer visible, it will drop that information. So you can't go back later and shrink it down and see that piece of the image again. Long Dog is listening. Ran, Israel. There are Windows 10, 11 ISOs for ARM, but not for Windows RT. Okay, so if it was Windows RT, which would be, I guess, not ARM. Still, what is Windows RT? Somebody said Windows RT was Windows 8 for ARM. Okay, so there are Windows 10, 11 ISOs for ARM, but not for Windows RT, which is a Windows 8 designed for ARM. Okay, I'm getting that. Don't ask me that question again in a week. I will flunk it. Windows 11 is available only as 64-bit operating system for 64-bit CPUs. 32-bit Windows apps will continue to be supported. Interesting. So Windows 11 is only available as 64-bit, not as 32. But you know what? That's ringing a bell of familiarity now that you say that. Not for Windows 11. Windows 11 is just 64-bit. Yeah, that is sounding familiar to me. I do recollect coming across that piece of information somewhere. A Windows 10 product key allows you to install the 32-bit or 64-bit version. The only caveat is that you can't perform an in-place upgrade. Okay, agreed, but one other factor there. I do recall when creating a Windows 10 ISO, you can get an option of selecting 64-bit only or both, the 32-bit or 64-bit. So if you created your ISO image with only 64-bit, then you can't use that ISO to install either version. You have to create the ISO from the media creation tool with the capability of having both. See if anybody says I'm wrong about that, because I pretty clearly remember that. Instead, you must delete the previous setup and perform a clean installation to change architectures from 32-bit to 64-bit. Yes. Now, I had a client that I converted their computers from 64-bit to 32-bit, but it was a fresh install. It was because their software required Windows 10 32-bit. Yes, it was required 32-bit. It was a software that was designed originally under Windows 7, and they had not yet updated their systems, their design. Windows 10 for ARM. So here's Windows 10 for ARM. Now it's not the RT, Windows 10 ARM ISO. So I need to download ISO for VHDX file Windows 10 Pro for ARM architecture for college. I use a Mac. with the M1 processor. Okay, so yeah, that ARM, is ARM architecture always a Mac? Or is it that Macs use ARM architecture, but ARM could be on a computer other than a Mac? These are areas I don't care about. I never get involved with in my work. So maybe somebody cares or is interested. I use a Mac with M1 processor, but the download pages for Microsoft Windows only offer Windows 11 ARM and not Windows 10 ARM. I previously used Windows 10 Pro and have a digital license, but need the addition for ARM architecture to run in my virtual machine software. Interesting. All right, then go back into chat. Windows RT is a mobile operating system. That was the Windows 8 for ARM, right? Mobile operating system developed by Microsoft. It's a version of Windows 8 or 8.1 built for the 32-bit ARM architecture. All right. Now, mobile operating system, is that meaning it's for mobile devices such as pads and phones? But a laptop's mobile, isn't it? But no, laptops we don't consider to be mobile devices. Mobile devices are things that work off of cell towers. Is that a fair way to define what mobile operating systems are? Is mobile systems that connect to cell towers? But a laptop can have a modem in it that can connect to cell towers. I've had that in laptops before. How to get Windows 11 on ARM. So I'll go see what that one's about. How to download and install Windows 11 ARM with ISO. And I might go look more at that after the live stream is over. Not sure that I will because I never need it for my work among my clients. Windows RT was designed for first generation of cheap Surface laptops. Never really caught on. I'll say that meant to be caught on. Cheap Surface laptops. Surface laptops was Microsoft laptops. So they did Windows RT for the first rendition of Microsoft Surface laptops. Interesting. I have a very early Microsoft Surface laptop. Still works fine for me. Correction, cheaper Surface tablets. Surface tablets. Okay, now I have a Surface. Well, now what do you call a tablet? Because my Surface computer has it has the motherboard in the screen. The keyboard folds down and it's just a thin keyboard only. It's magnetic. I can pull it off. And then the laptop screen functions like a tablet. So I think that's what you're referring to as a Surface tablet. I have one. It's in the car. Can't show it to you right now. Hello's between people. Windows 10, how am I doing on time? 23 minutes after. Windows 10 32 64-bit option is available if there is EFG configuration file inside of the ISO to allow that selection process. All right. Well, I have actually created ISO images that will let me select 32-bit, 64-bit upon launching it. That's my recollection. I didn't have to do anything special for an EFG configuration file, I don't think, but maybe that's technically what's going on in the background. I'm not sure. More accurately, I have no clue, except for that statement from Greg. ARM is multi-platform, and Macs are using M1 and M2 ARM-based processors. So there's quite a bit of knowledge in the chat room about them. ARM is a generic architecture. Android phones run on ARM-based processors. Okay, so I'm going to say by calling it generic means it's more versatile as to what operating system you can put on it. As long as you have a Windows, if you're wanting to put Windows on it, it has to be a Windows 4 ARM. You just can't do any old Windows installation. All right, that's making sense. And generic meaning it's not, well, it's obviously not Apple because that's not generic, but anything in the, I guess any processor that's PC specific would not be called generic. All right. Generic is kind of a generic term. Not really sure I got pinned down what that means. I hope today we don't have the fire department here today. Fire department was here both Saturday and Sunday. We heard a little bit about that on Sunday. Greg M., good morning. I think also that when using ARM architecture, you basically have to write new code and start over. Basically, I know that's a general statement, but the new code comes into play. Yeah, I suppose if you're using something with an ARM architecture, you not only have to have the operating system that works with it, but the software that you're using. I don't think all software is going to work on ARM. And that seems to be the case. Let's see if anybody says I'm wrong about that. Windows RT was a flop for Microsoft. There were Surface tablets running Windows RT. Now my tablet is not running Windows RT. It originally came, I think, Windows 7, and I upgraded to Windows 10, and I have done fresh installs on it. Surface Pro tablets running Windows 8, Intel CPU based. Did my Microsoft Surface actually come with Windows 8? I don't think so. I want to say it was Windows 7. Surface Pro tablets running Windows 8, Intel CPU based. Then Jeff, ARM is a licensed architecture. Licensed architecture. So I got me a few links open here that I can go browse a little bit so I have a little more vague of an understanding, or should I say less vague of an understanding. More of an understanding, but maybe less vague. If I go spend a little time reading up on these links that you've been so kind to give me. Yeah, I remember doing EFG tuking in the past for multi-selection and also using small utilities for creating custom ISO. From Al Neo. And then, whoops, I got jumped there. There, ran Israel. Same way that both Intel AMD are considered x86, x64, the M1, M2, Snapdragon, Equinox, etc. are all considered ARM. All right, good. So that's multiple different processors are considered ARM. So M1 and M2, as I understand, those are actually processors in the Mac world. Snapdragon, Equinox, I have no clue. I'm not sure I've even heard of those as processors. I'm sure maybe they are, but I don't know them. So ARM, the acronym stands for Advanced RISC Machines. So advanced risk. If you want to do mountain climbing, that's a high risk endeavor. Would you be using an ARM machine for that? Because it's got to help your arms. So ARM machine's got to be good for your arms. Climbing mountains on ropes, that's a strain on your arms. So you'd want to be using a advanced RISC machine for that, surely. Snapdragon. Shut up, Doug. Snapdragon is a phone processor. Okay, processors used in Android phones and tablets. All right, look at that. I am caught up with chat. I have 2 minutes to go before Ken Stout's premiere comes on. So I will bring up my email address. Oh, now wait a minute. Oh, RISC. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let me go back for this. Because to have a acronym that includes an acronym within inside of it, and that's kind of crazy. ARM is Advanced RISC Machines, and then what is RISC? Well, down here, RISC, Reduced Instruction Set Computer. So it's an Advanced Reduced Instruction Set Computer. This industry, that truck driving training school down the road looks more and more interesting all the time. There's my email address if you'd like to send a question by email, or if you'd like to ask a question, you can put on a comment on any of my videos. That will come to my attention. You can also put it into the chat room during any Windows Daily episode or one of the Saturday shows. So I hope that's been useful. Have a great day, everybody. Catch you later. Goodbye.